Hi, I'm Vinny, and this is Wednesday Wisdom. This is a weekly show where we take time out of our busy schedules to reach out to people who might be really depressed, really stressed out, or just stuck in a rut and need extra motivation. Now, before we go any further, I want to give you guys an opportunity to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified so you never miss another episode of Wednesday Wisdom, as well as other additional HVMA content. And my motivation for this week, my words of wisdom that I'll bestow upon you is simple. Work smarter, not harder. Now, this is one I'm sure you guys have heard many, many times before. But believe it or not, this is the most effective way to get work done. The problem is there are a lot of old school minds out there that will try to tell you the opposite. They stress the importance of working hard and no pain, no gain. Well, now to an extent, that is true. And while there are a lot of old school thoughts and beliefs that I personally hold dear, this is respectfully not one of them. You see, the reason a lot of people say that to you is because back in the day, our parents, our grandparents, they had to work hard because hard work was all they had. Their hard work is why we have the ability to work smarter. So let me be clear that I am in no way, shape, or form laughing at or mocking the old school by making this video. Now you see, the key to greater productivity is to work smarter, not harder. Working smarter saves precious time and energy for things that really matter. Things like your life goals, your personal growth, your health, and your relationships. Also, hard work can drive you insane if there are no results generating from it. Working smarter can help you figure out what you're doing wrong, figure out another route, and then put that hard work towards that to achieve success. I'll use myself as an example. As a comedian, I was told that the secret to success was to go up on stage every night. And when you're first starting out, that is definitely something you need to be doing because you need that repetition to get better. But the one thing I learned that was just as important was to not only go on stage a lot, but to also have something to say when I go up. You see, you go on stage every night at open mics, but if you don't have anything to say, you're going to end up wasting the audience's time, the club's time, and your own time. So in the beginning, I was going up multiple days a week. I was everywhere. Wherever there was a club, I was there working on my act, doing everything. There were days where I was in pretty much every club there is, and you couldn't get me out of the building half the time. But now I still go up on stage, but I only do it when I either have an important show coming up, like if I'm doing an important show, obviously it's the time for me to go on stage, but also if I have to prepare for that show, like if I got to go into the open mics and work on my material for a big show coming up, I'll get on stage for that. Or if I have new material to work out, I'll go on stage for that. So what I do is I work on my material, I write it, and when I feel it's ready for the stage, I take it there. That way, every time I go on stage, it has a purpose. Whether the jokes do well or not. Because if they do well, I can add them to my act. If they don't, I can either rework them till they're funny or get rid of them completely if they're just plain terrible. So there are plenty of comics that go on stage more often than me, but very few have sets that are more productive than mine. Because when I go up there, I have a reason. Now, there are 3 ways to work smarter. The first is work on your hardest tasks when you are the most productive. For some people, that would be first thing in the morning, but for others, it's the afternoon. When are you most energized? Set that time aside, if you can, to work on the most important tasks you have to achieve that day. Me personally, I'm not a morning person. So when I work on entertainment stuff outside of HVMA, I tend to do it in the afternoon or the evening time because that's when I'm the most productive and when I can function. Second, fill in your quick tasks when you have a 10-minute gap in your schedule. So there's 10-minute gaps in your schedule, use that to get things done quickly. It's amazing what you can get done in just 10 minutes. Choose one task and complete it before moving on to your next task. And finally, delegate the tasks that don't require you to do them. If others can accomplish the task and you need time for the important issues that require your attention, delegate it. Now, this is something that I do with my podcast. Sometimes if I got a lot of things on my plate and I'm not able to record a particular segment, like for example, I have co-hosts that I use for wrestling recaps and things like that. If I'm not able to recap a wrestling show because I'm missing it for some reason, my co-host jumps in, does it all by himself, sends me the audio, and I put everything together. And at some point, I even planning on teaching some of these guys how to edit so they can edit things together and help me take a lot off my plate. So, that's something I do with my podcast. I try to delegate certain work assignments. Like, okay, I can focus on this while a person focuses on this. Or if somebody's really good at marketing, like I have a marketing person, I let them do certain things as well. Like, hey, here, you promote this thing here on Instagram, and I'll edit this podcast over here. So I try to delegate the work as much as possible in order to organize things so I can focus on the stuff that I need to primarily focus on. So that's another key important thing to do. By doing these 3 tasks, you can take the first steps to working smarter instead of working harder. Now, this doesn't mean that hard work still isn't required, but there are ways to get the work done without burning yourself out or stressing yourself out to the point where you hate what you're doing. Now, this, of course, applies to you if you're doing something that you love. But if you're doing something that you hate in general, working smarter ain't going to help much. All that will do is make you slightly less angry than you already are now. Also, if you ever feel yourself getting to that point, if you're doing something you love and you're getting burned out and stressed out and pissed off to where you can't take it anymore, allow yourself to take a break. Take some vacation time and allow yourself to relax. That way, when you get back to the hard work, you'll be back with newfound energy and a newfound love for what you're doing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude Wednesday Wisdom for this week. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified so you never miss another episode of Wednesday Wisdom, as well as other additional HVMA content. Check back soon for a new episode. And until then, stay social.